Today, on the 8th of September 2025, we gather here in this heartfelt space to remember and honor remarkable souls who have recently left us, along with those whose legacies continue to inspire. Together, we'll celebrate their journeys and also reflect on WWE legend Roman Reigns' recent struggles that fans everywhere have connected with. Don't forget to subscribe and be a part of our growing family of remembrance and strength. Dusty Rhodes, born Virgil Riley Runnels Jr. on October 12, 1945 in Austin, Texas, was more than just a professional wrestler. He was a cultural icon whose influence transcended the squared circle. Known affectionately as the American Dream, Rhodes embodied the heart and spirit of the everyman, connecting with fans through his blue-collar persona, his raw charisma, and his uncanny ability to tell a story both inside and outside the ring. Growing up in post-war Texas, Rhodes was shaped by the values of hard work, perseverance, and determination, qualities that would later define his wrestling persona and endear him to audiences across the country. Rhodes' career, which spanned over 3 decades, was marked by electrifying moments and legendary feuds, particularly with Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, and other wrestling greats. His 3 reigns as NWA World Heavyweight Champion solidified his status as a top-tier performer, while his time in the WWF allowed him to showcase his magnetic personality amid a roster of more traditional, often larger-than-life characters. Beyond his in-ring accomplishments, Rhodes left an indelible mark as a mentor and trainer, shaping the careers of the next generation of wrestling stars, including his son, Cody Rhodes, and Goldust, among many others at WWE's developmental territories. Despite his success, Rhodes' life was not without struggle. Years of punishing physical labor in the ring, coupled with battles with his weight and later kidney disease, took a toll on his health. His passing on June 11, 2015, at the age of 69 from kidney failure sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. Yet his legacy endures, not only in the championships he won or the wrestlers he trained, but in his ability to inspire fans with his passion, authenticity, and unwavering dedication to the sport he loved. Dusty Rhodes was, and remains, the embodiment of the American dream. Hana Kimura was a remarkably talented Japanese professional wrestler, born on September 3, 1997, in Yokohama, Kanagawa, Japan. Growing up as the daughter of Kyoko Kimura, a celebrated professional wrestler known for her fierce persona and groundbreaking career, Hana was immersed in the wrestling world from a very young age. Surrounded by the energy of arenas, training gyms, and the dedication of athletes, she developed a deep passion for the sport, quickly absorbing the techniques, storytelling, and theatricality that define professional wrestling. By the age of 15, Hana had begun formal training, and she made her professional debut in 2016 with World Wonder Ring Stardom, one of Japan's premier women's wrestling promotions. Her unique style, blending agility, precise striking, and emotionally charged performances allowed her to stand out immediately. Hana's charisma extended beyond the ring, capturing the hearts of fans worldwide, particularly through her appearance on Netflix's reality series Terrace House, Tokyo 2019 to 2020. The show gave audiences an intimate glimpse into her personality, playful, thoughtful, and endlessly determined. Yet behind her public persona, Hana struggled with the pressures of fame, facing relentless online harassment and cyberbullying that weighed heavily on her mental health. Tragically, at just 22 years old, Hana passed away, her death ruled a suicide. Her loss sent shockwaves through both the wrestling and entertainment communities, sparking widespread reflection on the impact of social media harassment and the critical importance of mental health support. Even in her brief life, Hana Kimura left an enduring legacy. Through her performances, her courage, and the joy she brought to fans, she continues to inspire a new generation of wrestlers and supporters, serving as a poignant reminder of the human spirit behind the spectacle of professional wrestling. Kamala, born James Harris on May 28, 1950, in Senatobia, Mississippi, emerged as one of professional wrestling's most unforgettable figures, leaving an indelible mark on the sport. Growing up in the segregated South, Harris faced numerous challenges early in life, experiences that shaped the resilience and determination he would later bring to the wrestling ring. He began his wrestling career in the early 1970s, honing his craft across regional promotions and steadily building a reputation for his extraordinary size, strength, and unique in-ring presence. Harris achieved worldwide fame under the ring name Kamala, a character crafted as a mysterious and imposing Ugandan giant. Complete with striking face paint, a tribal mask, and a distinctive loincloth, Kamala captivated audiences with his raw, almost primal persona. Despite the theatrical nature of the gimmick, Harris brought athleticism and agility to the role, making moves like his signature Kamala Splash genuinely impressive for a man of his stature. Throughout his career, Kamala squared off against some of the biggest names in professional wrestling, including Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, and The Undertaker. These high-profile matches, often filled with dramatic storytelling and intense physicality, helped cement his status as both a feared opponent and a fan favorite. Beyond the ring, Harris was known for his humility, kindness, and professionalism, traits that endeared him to fellow wrestlers and fans alike. Sadly, Kamala passed away at 70 due to complications from diabetes, leaving behind a legacy that transcends the sport. He paved the way for African-American wrestlers in an industry that often struggled with representation, and his unforgettable character continues to inspire admiration, respect, and fond memories among wrestling fans worldwide. Beautiful Bobby Eaton, born on August 14, 1958 in Huntsville, Alabama, was widely regarded as one of professional wrestling's most talented and charismatic performers. From the moment he stepped into the ring in the late 1970s, Eaton's combination of agility, technical precision, and natural showmanship set him apart. Known for his smooth in-ring style, he could execute high-flying maneuvers with the same ease as intricate holds and counters, earning the admiration of both fans and peers alike. Eaton's career spanned multiple major wrestling promotions, including the National Wrestling Alliance, (NWA), and World Championship Wrestling, (WCW), where he became a fixture of the tag team division. Eaton achieved his greatest fame as one half of the legendary tag team, the Midnight Express, initially teaming with Dennis Condrey and later with Stan Lane. Together, they created a unique blend of athleticism, timing, and storytelling, captivating audiences with their innovative double-team maneuvers and unforgettable in-ring chemistry. Eaton's signature move, the Eaton Rocket, highlighted his aerial prowess and added a dramatic flair that thrilled fans. The team's legendary rivalries with the Rock and Roll Express and the Fantastics became defining moments of 1980s wrestling, showcasing not only their skill, but their ability to tell a story inside the squared circle. Beyond his tag team accolades, Eaton was celebrated for his versatility, seamlessly adapting his style to work with a diverse range of opponents. His professionalism, humility, and dedication left a lasting impression on the wrestling community. Tragically, his passing marked the end of an era, yet his influence on tag team wrestling and the countless fans he inspired ensures that beautiful Bobby Eaton's legacy will continue to endure for generations. Bob Armstrong, born on October 3, 1939, was a revered professional wrestler whose career left an enduring mark on the world of sports entertainment. Known for his magnetic charisma, unwavering dedication, and hard-hitting in-ring style, Armstrong became a beloved figure among fans and fellow wrestlers alike. His journey began in the 1960s, a period when wrestling was dominated by regional promotions, and he quickly distinguished himself with his athleticism, versatility, and ability to tell a story inside the ring. Audiences were drawn not just to his technical skill, but to the way he could connect with them emotionally, making every match feel personal and compelling. Throughout his storied career, Armstrong captured numerous championships, including the prestigious NWA Southern Heavyweight Championship and multiple NWA tag team titles. He engaged in memorable rivalries with some of wrestling's most legendary figures, earning respect for his resilience, showmanship, and ability to elevate both himself and his opponents. Beyond his accolades, Armstrong was a mentor and guiding force to younger wrestlers, particularly his sons, teaching them not only the mechanics of wrestling, but also the discipline, integrity, and passion necessary to succeed in a demanding industry. Outside the ring, Armstrong was a devoted family man, Admired for his humility and generosity, his legacy extended beyond championships and accolades. It was the countless lives he touched, the lessons he imparted, and the joy he brought to fans that defined his impact. Inducted into multiple halls of fame, Bob Armstrong's contributions to professional wrestling are celebrated and remembered long after his passing at age 80. His life remains a testament to the enduring spirit, heart, and dedication of a true wrestling icon. In a jaw-dropping turn of events at Clash in Paris 2025, the unthinkable happened. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, was not just beaten, he was demolished. The roar of the crowd inside the Accor Arena was deafening, a combination of shock, awe, and exhilaration. Thousands of fans from across the globe had gathered, some wearing merchandise, some waving flags, all ready to witness what promised to be another chapter in Roman's storied reign. But no one expected what unfolded. The streets outside glimmered under the Parisian night, the Eiffel Tower casting a golden glow across the city. Cafes were busy, couples strolled hand in hand along the Seine. But inside the arena, the world was reduced to a single, throbbing heartbeat, the anticipation of what was about to happen in the ring. Fans screamed, chanted, and waved signs, their energy spilling into the aisles and even onto the ramp. The atmosphere was almost tangible, a thick mixture of hope, fury, and the thrill of unpredictability. Roman Reigns entered the arena like a king walking into his court. His music hit, and the reaction was instantaneous. Boos clashing with cheers, an undercurrent of respect for the man who had dominated WWE for years. With the Universal Championship slung over his shoulder, Roman's black vest glimmered under the spotlights, each step deliberate, heavy with the weight of authority. He exuded confidence, arrogance, and unshakable poise, his eyes scanning the crowd as if measuring them. He had faced hostile arenas before, silenced them, and left as the victor. Tonight, he intended the same. But there was a subtle difference in the air. Paris felt alive in a way Roman hadn't encountered. The city's energy was different. It didn't just cheer or boo. It demanded spectacle. The arrival of the young wolf. The calm tension shattered when Braun Breaker stormed onto the stage. The younger superstar exuded energy that seemed almost feral, raw, and unfiltered. His body was sculpted like a statue of a Greek god, each movement precise yet full of untamed power. Breaker's eyes blazed with determination, burning through the lights and into Roman himself. He didn't pause for the crowd. He didn't bask in their cheers. His mission was singular: to dismantle the king. Breaker sprinted down the ramp, a living embodiment of energy and aggression. He slid under the ropes and locked eyes with Roman, the intensity between them almost tangible. The crowd could feel it, the way the younger powerhouse challenged the established order. He represented change, rebellion, and youthful audacity, a new force rising to challenge the old guard. But even as Breaker's raw energy filled the arena, a heavier presence soon made itself known. The ground seemed to hum with each step as Bronson Reed emerged. Unlike Breaker's explosive entrance, Reed's approach was deliberate and terrifyingly calm. Every step he took resonated with inevitability, his massive frame commanding attention, not just from Roman, but from the entire audience. Reed didn't need theatrics. He was a force of nature, and the arena seemed to pause in recognition. Roman's expression faltered for the first time that night. He wasn't facing a single challenger. He was facing a team of unstoppable force, two monsters united in their intent. The Paris crowd roared in approval, sensing that they were about to witness a historic upheaval, one that could redefine the balance of power in WWE. The battle begins. The bell rang and chaos erupted. Roman struck first, displaying the aggression and experience that had kept him at the top for so long. He launched a flurry of strikes at Breaker, driving the younger man into the corner, then pivoted to deliver uppercuts to Reed. With a roar, he connected a Superman punch to Reed, staggering the giant. He spun, spearing Breaker with such force that the crowd gasped in unison. For a brief moment, it seemed the tribal chief might reclaim control, proving why he had been king for so long. But the storm was far from over. Breaker recovered with explosive speed, returning fire with a spear that nearly split Roman in half. Reed followed immediately, delivering a crushing body avalanche against the steel ring post. The impact reverberated through Roman's body, forcing him to clutch his ribs, gasp for breath, and realize the gravity of the challenge before him. This wasn't just a match. It was a meticulous dismantling. Breaker lifted Roman into a military press, showcasing his raw strength before tossing him into Reed's waiting arms. Reed executed a Samoan drop that shook the ring violently. Roman rolled across the canvas, the pain etched across his face, each breath a struggle. Breaker stomped relentlessly, Reed's forearms crashing across Roman's chest. The referee's pleas for restraint were lost amid the sound of destruction and the crowd's roar. Defiance amidst destruction. Even battered and bloodied, Roman refused to surrender. He staggered to his feet, blood dripping from his mouth, muscles screaming with pain, and launched another Superman punch that sent Breaker sprawling. Then, summoning every ounce of strength, he speared Reed through the barricade at ringside. The explosion of debris sent the crowd into hysteria. Roman stood amidst the wreckage, chest heaving, eyes blazing with defiance. For one fleeting moment, it looked as though the tribal chief might endure, might reclaim his throne amidst the chaos. But destiny had other plans. Breaker and Reed were relentless, their combined force like the tide itself, unstoppable, consuming, inevitable. Every strike Roman attempted was countered, every maneuver anticipated. They worked in perfect synergy, alternating between brutal precision and raw, overwhelming power. Roman's legacy, his resilience, his cunning, all were tested beyond the limits of endurance. The Parisian crowd was alive with every motion, their gasps, cheers, and cries amplifying the drama. Each moment of struggle was mirrored by the fans, whose energy fed back into the ring. The battle wasn't just physical, it was emotional, psychological, a test of legacy, ambition, and human spirit. The human cost. Roman's breathing was ragged, each inhale a stab of pain through bruised ribs. Sweat and blood mingled, glistening under the arena lights. Every movement was a testament to human resilience, every gasp a reminder that even kings are mortal. He had faced giants, monsters, and legends, but tonight was different. Tonight he faced two forces united in their intent to topple him, to dismantle the very empire he had built. Breaker's youth made him unpredictable, a whirlwind of raw energy and fury, while Reed's presence was unyielding, a force of nature that could not be stopped. Together, they were not simply opponents, they were a reckoning, a symbolic representation of change and the passage of time. Roman's dominance, once untouchable, was being questioned in the most visceral way imaginable. And yet, even amid the pain, Roman's mind raced with strategy. Years of experience, of battlefield awareness, of knowing how to read and manipulate every situation, gave him a glimmer of hope. He found fleeting openings, landed strikes that staggered his opponents, and reminded the crowd why he had been the tribal chief for so long. But with every victory, the counterattack followed immediately, leaving him little time to recover. The tipping point. As the match raged on, it became clear that this was more than a contest of physical prowess. It was a test of human endurance, a narrative of legacy, ambition, and mortality unfolding in real time. Each slam, each punch, each near fall told a story. Roman struggles symbolized the difficulty of maintaining dominance in a world that continually evolves. Breaker's assault represented raw ambition, the hunger to rise. Reed embodied inevitability, the slow, crushing weight of change. The ring became a crucible of pain, resilience, and spectacle. Roman fought with everything he had, summoning strength from memory, instinct, and sheer willpower. He landed punches that made the crowd roar, spears that shook the structure itself. For a moment, it seemed that the tribal chief might defy fate once again. But even the strongest can be worn down, and the combined assault of two relentless forces gradually shifted the balance. The Paris crowd roared their approval and horror, witnessing the breakdown of a legend. They understood on some primal level that what was unfolding was history in motion. Roman's defiance, his pain, his fleeting moments of triumph, these were the building blocks of a story that would be remembered long after the arena emptied. The reckoning. As the match drew toward its climax, Roman's once imposing aura of invincibility had been chipped away. Bruised, battered, and bloodied, he staggered, every movement a testament to the toll exacted by youth and force combined. Breakker and Reed, unified in their destructive intent, pressed the advantage without mercy. Roman's legendary resilience was on full display, yet even his near-mythical toughness was beginning to show its limits. For the fans in Paris, this was not just a match, it was a reckoning. The tribal chief, a symbol of dominance, power, and control, was finally challenged in a way that exposed his humanity. The battle was no longer about victory or defeat alone. It was about evolution, about passing the torch, about the inevitable passage of time and change. And when the final blows landed, the message was clear. Even the most formidable reigns are not eternal. Roman Reigns had fought valiantly, had defied the odds, but on this night in Paris, two forces, representing both raw ambition and unstoppable inevitability, had made a statement. The bloodline the Empire Roman had built would never be the same. The arena erupted in a mixture of shock, awe, and respect, the crowd bearing witness to a moment that would be remembered for generations. Roman lay in the center of the ring, broken, humbled, and yet still defiant. He had been demolished, yes, but he had also reminded the world why he had been king. His legacy, though challenged, was intact in spirit, if not in dominance. For Paris, for WWE, and for fans around the world, Clash in Paris 2025 would not just be remembered as a match. It would be remembered as the night a legend was tested, a reckoning unfolded, and a new era began. The tension before the storm. The Paris arena was electric, buzzing with a mix of anticipation, excitement, and underlying unease. Fans from across Europe had traveled, many for the very first time, to witness what had been billed as a historic main event. The bright lights, the thunderous applause, and the roaring chants created a palpable energy that clung to every corner of the venue. For weeks, WWE had teased the confrontation. Roman Reigns, the seemingly invincible tribal chief, defending his dominance against the raw power of Braun Breaker and the unpredictable might of Bronson Reed. The narrative had been simple yet compelling. The old empire versus the new blood, experience versus brute force. Yet no one truly knew how violent and unrelenting this night would become. Backstage, Roman Reigns stood silently, his expression stoic but his mind racing. He had faced countless challengers, each more ambitious than the last. But tonight's opponents carried a different energy. Breaker's fury was legendary in its intensity, a whirlwind of aggression honed over years of training and fights in the NXT crucible. Reed's sheer mass and agility were deceptive. He was a man whose movements, despite his near 400-pound frame, were fluid and devastating. Roman's senses tingled with the instinctive awareness that tonight was not just another match. It was a battle for survival, a confrontation that could alter the very fabric of WWE's hierarchy. Opening Clash, as the bell rang, the arena erupted. Roman charged forward with the confidence of a seasoned champion, his every motion purposeful, honed by years of relentless training and countless high-stakes matches. Breakker met him head-on, the collision reverberating through the ring like a cannon blast. Their bodies collided with bone-crunching intensity, each strike a message, each slam a challenge. Roman had faced powerful men before, but there was something primal in Breakker's approach, a hunger that went beyond the scripted choreography of the sport. The audience was on its feet, eyes wide as the two titans exchanged brutal strikes. Sweat glistened under the harsh lights, flying from each connection of body against body, each sound amplified in the enclosed arena. Roman's resilience was legendary. He absorbed punishment with a mix of calculated defense and instinctive counterattacks. Yet tonight, the synergy of Breakker and Reed was unlike anything he had encountered. The first wave of destruction, Breakker surged forward with sudden, terrifying strength, catching Roman mid-stride. The clothesline was executed with such force that it sent Reigns tumbling upside down, crashing to the canvas in a heap. The collective gasp of the audience was deafening. Roman's hands instinctively clutched his chest, his breath short, as Breakker's relentless assault continued. The young wolf dragged him to the corner, setting steel steps with deliberate precision. Every motion was calculated, every strike a statement. This was not a contest of skill, but a demonstration of dominance. Despite the pain, Roman's pride compelled him to resist. He rose, wobbling, trying to regain his composure, only to be speared into the unforgiving steel steps. The impact echoed through the arena, a metallic symphony of destruction. The audience recoiled, some covering their mouths, others frozen in disbelief, as the tribal chief struggled against the onslaught. Each attempt to rise was met with renewed aggression, a grim reminder that tonight, survival was a privilege, not a right. The avalanche of power. As Roman staggered, barely able to stand, Reed ascended the ropes, his massive frame moving with the agility of a panther. The anticipation in the crowd built to a fever pitch, the collective intake of breath hanging in the air. And then, with terrifying precision, Reed launched into a tsunami splash, his bulk slamming into Roman's chest. The sheer weight of the maneuver caused Reigns' body to convulse violently. Every gasp he drew was ragged, shallow, each inhale a struggle against the crushing force of the attack. Blood glistened at his lips, the first signs of physical cost becoming unmistakable. The referee moved instinctively to intervene, only to be pulled away by Breakker, his expression feral, eyes wild, refusing to let anyone disrupt the punishment being meted out. This was more than a match. It had become an execution, a relentless display of power and control that left the audience in stunned silence. Beyond the ring, no corner of the arena could contain the chaos. Breakker seized Roman, dragging him from the mat and toward the announce table. The crowd's collective heartbeat seemed to pause in anticipation of what was coming. With a guttural scream, Breakker hoisted Roman high into a military press. For a brief moment, time seemed suspended, every eye in the arena locked onto the suspended champion. Then, with the sound of splintering wood and exploding monitors, Roman crashed through the table. The destruction was complete, a visual representation of his empire being torn apart. The audience's reaction was a mix of horror and awe. Some screamed, pleading for the violence to stop. Others were mesmerized, unable to look away from the spectacle unfolding before them. Roman lay in the wreckage, motionless, his body limping in ways that made the human eye recoil. Crimson streaked his lips, his eyes glazed, the lights reflecting off the sweat and blood that covered him. This was a turning point, not just in the match, but in WWE history itself. The final onslaught. Even this was not enough for Breakker and Reed. They dragged Roman back into the center of the ring, subjecting him to a brutal powerbomb onto a steel chair. The sound of impact was deafening. Roman's body arched unnaturally, the human form pushed to its absolute limits. His arms twitched weakly, chest rising with effort so minimal it seemed impossible that he was still alive. Breakker ascended the ropes once again, delivering a diving shoulder block that crushed his chest further. Reed followed with another tsunami splash, compounding the damage. The crowd oscillated between stunned silence and visceral outcry, unable to reconcile the sheer violence they were witnessing. By now, it was undeniable. Roman Reigns was no longer merely beaten, he was annihilated. His empire, built over a decade of blood, sweat, and victories, had crumbled in a single night. The referee had no choice but to ring the bell. Victory in the traditional sense was irrelevant. The damage had transcended the scripted end. This was real, primal, unrelenting. The aftermath medical personnel rushed to the ring, their faces masks of professional urgency tinged with concern. They approached Roman carefully, assessing injuries that were immediately apparent. Fractured ribs, possible internal trauma, and significant blood loss. Every movement elicited a wince. Every touch was met with a silent plea for relief. The crowd, once deafening in its excitement, now sat in a stunned hush, the weight of the moment sinking into every spectator. The stretcher carried Roman toward the arena exit, his body protected but visibly fragile. Fans rose in unison, chanting his name, offering respect to the fallen champion. Faces glistened with tears, children clung to parents, and the emotion in the room was palpable. This was more than entertainment. It was a shared human experience, a testament to vulnerability, heroism, and the merciless nature of physical competition. Breaker and Reed. The New Order. In the ring, Breaker and Reed did not celebrate with exaggerated theatrics or championship poses. They stood tall, their chests heaving, faces blank yet searing with intensity. Their alliance, forged in brutality, was now unmistakable. They had not merely won a match, they had reshaped the hierarchy of WWE in one decisive, violent night. There was no room for fanfare, only the silent, foreboding presence of two men who had rewritten the rules of engagement. Legacy shattered backstage. The atmosphere was somber. Wrestlers walked quietly, their expressions etched with disbelief and sorrow. Roman Reigns, the embodiment of strength, strategy, and invincibility, had been reduced to a fragile human being, a stark reminder of mortality even among giants. Every corner of WWE felt the impact of the night's events, from locker rooms to production booths. Conversations ceased mid-sentence, and even the most seasoned performers exchanged glances heavy with concern. The Empire that fell. Clash in Paris 2025 would be remembered not simply as a wrestling event, but as a night of reckoning. Roman Reigns was not pinned, nor was he submitted. He was left in ruins, a king unseated, his empire crumbling under the calculated assault of two new powerhouses. The visuals, the shattered table, the steel chair, the shattered monitors, became symbols of a reign forcibly concluded. As the ambulance carried him into the night, sirens wailing like a funeral march, one undeniable truth hung in the air. No empire, no matter how unyielding, lasts forever. Breaker and Reed were not merely victors. They were executioners, arbiters of a new order, heralds of a future defined by unrelenting power and savage precision. The night concluded with a haunting silence, a poignant mixture of triumph and tragedy. The legacy of Roman Reigns would endure, but Paris had borne witness to the moment when the unbreakable fell.